Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Laura and today I'm doing a manga haul. This is going to be all of the manga that I got from Christmas and till now, which is end of February. Most of these are going to be gifts that I received. I did do a handful of special buys and then a few titles were from pre-orders, from orders on Right Stuff that I had done last year. Anyway, this is actually a pretty substantial haul, I guess, or at least a lot of the books are quite sizable. So it looks like a lot of books and I'm just going to get into them. So let's just get into this. The first thing that I got is Turning Point 1997 to 2008. This is by Hayao Miyazaki and I think it is an autobiography of his time during this period in time. There is another book that's called Starting Point, I think, that goes up until 1997. I haven't read either of them and this was actually gifted to me from my sister, but she didn't gift me the first one because she could only find it in paperback, and this one is in hardcover. So I'm not entirely sure if the other one was available in hardcover, but we're going to look for that for a while, and if we can't uncover a hardcover copy of it, then we will end up purchasing a softcover of it. So I'm not entirely sure that I'm going to pick this up without reading Starting Point first, but it is a nice title to have. I'm a big fan of Hayao Miyazaki, as you know, most of you also would be, and I'm really interested in hearing about his life and about his thoughts on animation in general, so I think this will be a very interesting read when I get to it. It is not a graphic novel, it is, you know, nonfiction. It's just a nonfiction work, so very happy to have this though. And then the next few books, they're all going to be from my sister. You know, she shares a collection with me, so she knows what I have and what I need and what I want, and my birthday and Christmas are very, very close together, so some of these were for Christmas, some of these are for my birthday. I can't remember which. So she gave me Triton of the Sea, Volume 1 by Osamu Tezuka. This is a large manga, and Volume 2. It's also quite a large manga, and I think this is about a child, like a sea child, who is abandoned and adopted on Earth, and then bad things happen or something. I'm not entirely sure. I did read like the first chapter and it was really quite compelling. Oh, this one I did get for Christmas because I read it at Christmas, but I couldn't read very much when I was, you know, at Christmas because that's being antisocial, so I read the first chapter and it seems like a really good story. Hopefully it will be a good story, you know, continuing past that point, but I'm just really happy to have more Tezuka in my collection, and I am hoping to read more of his works throughout the year. And then she bought me probably the largest softcover manga in my collection, and that is the Osamu Tezuka story, A Life in Manga and Anime by Toshio Ban. This thing is holy huge. It is so massive. It's published by Stonebridge Press, which does a lot of like Japanese history books, like nonfiction, and a lot of language books. So it's a little bit different that they have a manga. Like seriously, it's huge. I don't know when I'm going to pick this up. And since it's a soft cover, you know, the spine is definitely going to break when you read it. There's no way to get around that, and even, you know, getting it, there is already a crease on the cover, so unfortunately this is not published in a hardcover as far as I know. If there was a hardcover, definitely would try and replace this. I'm very interested in seeing it. From flipping through it, Toshio Ban does seem to take a little bit of Tezuka's art style to actually write about Tezuka, and so that seems really appealing to me. I don't know too much about Tezuka's life, so this will be very interesting to read. But yeah, it's just going to be like, it's massive, so it's very kind of overwhelming just to look at it even. She bought me Fallen Words by Yoshihiro Tatsumi. I had mentioned in a previous video that we didn't have Tatsumi in our collection, and it was an absolute shame, and it was going to get rectified this year, so she actually was laughing when I posted that because she already had these on order and was going to give them to me. So this is a title by Tatsumi. I don't know anything about it. I have read a couple of works by him which I've really enjoyed, and hopefully will enjoy this one as well, and probably will be picking up more throughout the year. And then she bought me 4 just massive bricks of manga. These are all nonfiction titles by Shigeru Mizuki, and that is Showa history of Japan. This one is 1926 to 1939. This one is 1939 to 1944, 1944 to 1953, and 1953 to 1989. This is a history of Showa era Japan. I think that it is semi-autobiographical, and I believe that he uses a lot of his characters from Kitaro to tell the story, and I think that this is mostly a story about World War II and sort of like the effects, you know, leading up and then post-war. So it's going to be a very hard read. It's going to be a very interesting read. I'm certainly very interested in reading this, and I'm really, really glad to have it in my collection. It was something that has been on my list to buy, just hasn't happened until this point, so very happy to add this to the collection. But these things are massive, like there's 4 like this, so it's quite the epic. So that was it for all of the titles that I got from my sister for my birthday and Christmas. I did get another title, and that came from a viewer, so I really, really appreciate it. I'm not going to say who you are because you did contact me privately, but I'm also not going to not show the title that you gave me because I'm really excited to add it to my collection. That is Mail Volume 1 by Hosui Yamazaki. I believe that this title is related to Kurosaki Corpse Delivery Service, but this is a title about people who receive email or mail, and they come with attachments, and I think the attachments sort of like have messages from the dead, and there's a particular person in here who can see the attachments and also has the ability to kill whatever like demon or whatever is coming out of the mail. I'm not entirely sure. I could have it completely wrong. I haven't read it yet, but I do now have volumes 1 and 3 because I had hauled volume 3, and this person noticed that I needed to complete my series, so I do just need 1 more volume in the series to start reading this. It is only a 3-volume series, and I'm really excited to do so. I just flipped through it and it looks pretty great, so I think that this will be something that I really enjoy. So thank you so much for sending this to me, like beyond appreciate it. Certainly not why I'm here on YouTube, and I'm just here to talk about mangas, so the fact that you wanted to actually send me something was just like beyond appreciated. So thank you so much for this, and definitely will be treated with care and kept in my collection. And I will let you know about it when I actually complete the series and read it. So that may take a little bit of time, but until that happens, at least you know that it is a collection that really appreciates it. So thank you for this. The next 2 I actually bought off of like Book Depository, I think. They are both published by Picture Box, and they're quite nice publications. So the first one that I picked up was The Last of the Mohicans by Shigeru Sugiura, and this one is edited by Ryan Holberg, and there also is an essay in it. Unfortunately, this one has, like, I don't know if you can see it. You can see it, like, has some damage on it, which I'm not too happy about, but this is, like, I think sort of the back, or maybe it's not. This is a 10-cent manga, so it does have a picture on the back, which is quite cute. And this might be kind of a possibly racially inappropriate or racially or very racist title, but it is based off of the novel of Last of the Mohicans, and I'm surprised to actually have seen it in English and that it actually made it into getting a publication, and I'm looking forward to adding it to my collection. But yeah, I definitely was surprised to see something like this that could be potentially kind of a sensitive or insensitive portrayal of Indigenous peoples. I haven't read The Last of the Mohicans, the novel, so I don't really truly know what the story is, but some of the drawings in it are a little, interesting. So this will be an interesting read. Definitely very, very different from anything else I have in my collection. Also, it is quite a bit older, so the art is definitely got kind of a dated appearance, so you can see here. So this will be an interesting thing to read when I get to it, but I'm not sure about it. And the other title that I picked up was Golden Pollen and Other Stories by Seiichi Hayashi, and again, this one's edited by Ryan Holmberg. This one, again, has a nice photo on the cover. This one is in the series Masters of Alternative Manga. This is short stories. They're all very alternative or avant-garde. They're all full color. I haven't read it yet. There is an essay in it, so I'm really looking forward to reading that and discovering more of this side. I haven't read a whole lot of manga that is like this. It's just a very eye-opening thing to read, especially when it's just so incredibly different from the majority of the manga that I read. So really looking forward to this. Plus this is like a really, really attractive hardcover, so this is quite nice. I don't know too much about Picture Box. I don't know if they're still in business. I don't know if they're still publishing titles. I think that they aren't. I haven't seen any other titles besides these handful, and there's also the Mysterious Underground Men, which I also own. But, you know, if there are more, I definitely will be trying to collect them. They're very, seem like a very high quality publication. And then the last of my titles that I got for pre-order, this kind of finalizes everything that I ordered in, I can't remember if it was November or December, but everything that I had pre-ordered, this sort of completes it, and then I actually put in an order today. So up until this point, this kind of is like everything that I had on order arrived, and then I had almost 24 hours, but I didn't have manga coming in the mail, so that was pretty exciting. So yeah, I have a problem. Nekogahara Stray Cat Samurai, I got volume 2. This is by Hiroyuki Takei. This is the same author as Shaman King and I think another title that he writes with Stan Lee, but I can't remember what it is off the top of my head. I actually really enjoyed this. I don't think this is a story for everyone, and it is very, very heavy on the cat puns. Everything is named after, or everything is given sort of like feline names, or some sort of cat reference. If you're a cat person, maybe you'd like this. I think it is pretty heavy-handed, but the art in it is pretty great, and I think that there's going to be an interesting sort of samurai philosophy told by way of cats, which I think will be interesting to explore. So I'm looking forward to seeing how this develops. But we'll see how it goes. I got the second volume of The Black Museum's The Ghost and the Lady. This is by Kazuhiro Fujita. I still haven't read the first volume, but I am starting to get more interested in it. The art itself is not super appealing to me, but that is fine as long as the story kind of holds up. So this is, I think, a fantastical retelling of Florence Nightingale, and I think that this will be kind of interesting. I've been hearing really good things about it, so I'm at least interested to pick it up. I'm not sure when it'll happen because I have other things to read first, but it's a pretty nice looking quality manga from Kodansha. The next title I picked up was, I want to say Shula Rune, The Girl from the Other Side. I'm not entirely sure how to pronounce that. Story and art by Nagabe. I have been seeing a little bit of this on YouTube, and everybody has really been praising this, and I flipped through it and it looks absolutely totally up my alley. I'm really excited to read it. It has sort of a folktale kind of dark charm to it, which I think will be really appealing. I didn't know anything about it. I just really liked the cover illustration, and I thought that this would be something that I would be kind of into. I was surprised at how small the manga was, but I didn't realize at the time that it was published by Seven Seas. I don't have a lot of titles by Seven Seas, so I'm happy to have it. I think that this is quite a bit different than the majority of their catalog, so I'm really interested in seeing what this is and seeing where it goes, and I probably will talk about it when I read it. And then the last thing that I bought is actually not manga, but it is manga related, and so I'm still going to share it with you, and I'm really excited to have it because this is something that I've actually wanted to buy for pretty much since I started reading manga. I've known about it for a long time. I've looked at it occasionally, and it just was never, it was never the right time. So I'm just really excited to buy some titles from the backlist. So these are all academic journals. The academic journal is called Macademia. It focuses on anime and manga academic research and study. This comes out of the University of Minnesota, and I'm just really excited to own a few of these. So I only picked a couple. This one's Volume 1, Emerging Worlds of Anime and Manga, and I just picked it up because it was the first issue. They're actually pretty sizable, and they have lots of different interesting types of essays in it. I haven't looked through this one. I did start reading one of them, and I was really, really interested in it. So this just is like totally up my alley. This is the kind of reading that I want to do about anime and manga. This is like, I always loved reading academic journals when I was in university. I always got sidetracked and never finished papers because I was always reading journals instead. So I'm really happy to finally start putting these in my collection, and I will probably over the year, maybe over the next 2 years, just buy up the rest of the backlist. This particular one, it's called Emerging Worlds of Anime and Manga. This one I think is really talking about the surge in popularity of anime and manga in North America, and just sort of like what it is about it that has caught the attention of fans. And then I got issue 5. This one is called Fanthropologies, and I think that this is more of a study and exploration of fans, so fan dynamics, what fans sort of contribute to the culture of anime and manga, what they kind of, how they create profit, or maybe they kind of destroy profit, just sort of like their activity and their, it's sort of like a human geography of fans in anime and manga, I think. So I think this one will be very interesting, and I did start reading a little bit of it, and I was totally engrossed in it, so I'm looking forward to getting more of it. This one is quite a bit larger even, so there's lots and lots to read in here. And then I got issue 10, which is called World Renewal, and this one is sort of taking on the idea that in anime and manga there's so many alternate worlds that are created, and oftentimes they are kind of post-apocalyptic or post-disaster realities, and so kind of what they say about kind of recovery. And they're also, the reason that I picked this one up in particular is because there is a manga that was is because there is a single story manga called Nanohana, I think, by Moto Hagio in it, so I'm really looking forward to getting into this one as well. This one might be probably a little bit more of a depressing read, I think, or maybe it's more hopeful, I don't really know, but I'm really glad to be collecting a title of Moto Hagio that I didn't know kind of existed in other forms, so I think this one will be really, really interesting as well. So anyway, thank you so much for watching this. If you've read any of these titles, let me know what you thought of them. If you are interested in this Macadamia title, or if you've read any of these articles or anything, let me know about it. If you want to actually read some of these Macadamia titles, I believe that they're available through EBSCO products, so if your public library, or even if your university library, if you're in university, has an online EBSCO journal archive, like a digital archive, you could probably search for Macadamia and it'll pull up the individual articles. So I don't even know, I haven't looked, but it might even have that Moto Hagio story available on your library website, so you should check it out. I was reading a few articles through the EBSCO. I think it's like Academic Elite or something, but you can probably access it through any of the EBSCO products, so you might want to just check it out, or if not, talk to your library, because it's pretty cool how much information you can actually find in those digital archives that libraries have that nobody ever uses. So anyway, thank you so much for watching my video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.